So I recently got done watching the new The Invisible Man, and it's a good movie, by the way. You should go check it out if you haven't seen it already. But it made me realize that it would be a great example to kind of show everything that's wrong with the Rings of Power. Now, I know they're two different things, two different premises, but they both have leading ladies that are required to do the same things, even though they are in different stories. They both need to emote in fantastical, high, intense situations. So, for that sake, let's just take a look. Now, here we have although very pretty, a boring slog to get through with terrible acting, terrible writing, that just, never mind the doo-doo on the source material, and that but the acting is, and everything is just atrocious. And here we have an actual entertaining movie. Now, both have the female lead. Basically, the story is kind of through their eyes. Now, we have Morfydd Clark, who, from doing whatever research I could find on her, she doesn't have an extensive movie career. She's still fairly young. She's in a lot of British type stuff, stuff that I don't think rises to this type of level that is required for this material. And I'm trying to be very, very nice. She seems like a good actress in her own right. I don't feel that she was cast right for this. Then you have Elizabeth Moss, who really has a good way of expressing emotion, pulling you into how she feels, high intense situations. Now, yes, they are different situations, but still fantastical situations nonetheless that have to be dealt with. On one side, with Morfydd, you have twitchy face McGee, and on the other side, you have somebody that's bringing you into how they feel. You really get a sense of their anger, their frustration, and their sadness. Where whenever Morfydd in the Rings of Power emotes, it's cringy and almost aggravating at times. And I have to say that it's quite obvious that it's the writing. Primarily, the problem is the writing, and it makes the acting look like you're watching a high school play that, they're only at a high school level of acting. And it feels like it's being directed by somebody that's only, and I mean, I don't understand what the problem is. I know that if it was me and I spent $1 billion on something and this is what I got in return, I would be very upset. Now, we could go on and on about the source material and how these things just weren't in Galadriel's timeline, but whatever. There's a lot that happened in the second age. We're trying to tie a bunch of things. I understand taking some liberties, but there is a lot of awesome stuff that happened in the second age that it's writing itself. Just, I mean, you could copy the dialogue. It's right there, but it feels like everybody thinks that they have to dumb everything down, show and tell and show. Where, there was plenty to go on in the Invisible Man, where, how did you know that an actor was something? They told you in a conversation that they were having about a certain topic, and you picked up on the fact, oh, this is a police officer that is her friend. How did you know certain things? They showed you. You didn't have to be told after, oh, it's this. Oh, okay. Wow, that's neat, and you're figuring things out with the actress. In Rings of Power, it's let's show you these things, but then we're going to turn around and we're going to tell you about them too in a conversation, and waste precious dialogue time where the story feels like it's going absolutely nowhere. And even in what should be exciting situations, it's just like, come on, let's you're making an hour feel longer than an hour. It should be, when the hour is done, wow, that flew right by. Not, how much longer does this thing have? This is like the longest hour I have ever watched. It feels like I'm taking an SAT score, watching SAT test and watching the clock, waiting for it to end. That's the feeling you get. And it's terrible because there is a lot of beautiful work in this show. There is a lot of stuff on the screen that is just, it's beautiful. You were putting these actors in settings that are just phenomenally done. The artistic work, although some, still the landscapes, all that, very good. It's too bad that everything else can't rise to the level of the settings that they're supposed to be in. This is a problem. And if you got 5 seasons of this, I mean, it makes me question what you really have the rights to. And because if you have the rights to the second age or whatever, there was a lot of excellent stories. But if you just have the rights to a certain, I don't understand. And this is no way to start a series to pull people in. I'm, I know this is sacrilege, but I wasn't a big fan of the Game of Thrones. But I'll tell you what, when I see a preview from that, it makes me want to watch the show to check it out. When I see a preview from Rings of Power, it's like, how long are they going to drag this stuff out before they tell a story? It's you only need to do so much setting up. You could keep setting up as you tell the story, as it pushes along. Or apparently you can't. But perhaps some of the writers could actually, pick up on some things from this simple, low budget, especially in comparison. We're talking nothing, pennies on the dollar versus this. The level of quality should not be that I feel like I've gotten a better experience from this low budget show, visually, story, acting, everything. Stuff that had your heart beating. You got excited, you got anxious, I don't get that in Rings of Power. I get bored. And that's terrible for such an awesome bunch of source material that you have. It's just, but I don't know. I saw this movie and, and it made me think, even though I think, looks and age wise, she's not correct, but it's like, I really feel like Elizabeth Moss would have been a better fit, at least acting wise, than Morford Clark. And I'm not trying to, be disrespectful, but it's just, I don't know how you recast, and Galadriel is 2,000 years old at this point. She shouldn't be acting like an angsty teenager. Period. Start there. How about make Galadriel act the regalness that she is? This woman saw the birth of light. You portray her as an angsty teen that's pissed off with the patriarchy, and it's too much of today in there. People want to get away from. They want to go into fantasy land. They don't want you bringing the societal woes of the interwebs on to their Tolkien world. It's just not. It's not working. Stop it. Fix it. Make it better. Do better.